Hello students, today we are looking at position vectors. Position vectors. The position of a point A relative to a reference can be specified by a vector. If the reference point is the origin, the vector OA denotes the position of A relative to O, and it is called the position vector of A relative to O. Now look at this. If you are having AB to be a vector, this point A and point B can be referred to, can have a reference point. This point A and point B can have the reference point to be O. So this reference point is known as the position vector. Now if you now describe this A and B as a reference point to O, so vector OA is now the position vector of point A. Vector OB is now the position vector of point B. Now, so we can represent OA to be small a and vector OB to be small b. Now, if we now want to describe this vector AB according to the position vector, it means that normally if you are talking of position vector, you know the position vector OA, that means it starts from O and ends with A. So the arrow is facing like this, it's from O to A. So this is what the position vector of OA is small a. Then the position of vector OB, so it starts from O and ends in B. So this is what small b. So OA is taken to be a small a and OB is taken to be a small b. So now you are now told to describe vector AB in relation to the position vector. Now if you want to describe AB, that means you are starting from A and end with B. So that means the movement will be like this. It will go like this, like them back to it. Start from A and ends at B. Then now you now realize that if you are moving from A, this vector AO will be going contrary to, in opposition to this OA. So because it is going in opposition to OA, so it is going to attract a negative sign. So that means to describe vector AB in relation to the position vector, that means you now be what? This one, if it will go against this particular arrow, because it is going against this particular arrow, it will now be what? Minus AO, then plus OB, because this one will be is following the same direction. This one will be plus. This one is moving against this. If you are moving like this from A like this to this place, you are moving against this arrow. So it's going to be what? Minus AO plus OB. So that is why you are having minus AO plus OB. And since our OA is what? Plus A. So that means our AO will be what? Minus, we are having minus A plus OB is what? B. Our OB is B. So if we want to describe the vector AB in relation to the position vector, so that means it will be of minus A plus B. If you rearrange this, you now can have B minus A. So the position vector of AB can be written as B minus A. Let's look at this question. The position vector of the points P, Q, and R relative to an origin O are respectively P, Q, and R. Find the vectors in terms of P, Q, and R. So if you are having 3 points, points P, Q, and R, so their reference point is known as the position vector. So it means that if you are having O to be their reference point, so if you move from OA will be the position vector of this point P, OQ will be the position vector of point Q. OR will be the position vector of point R. We can use small letters to represent their position vector. So OP is same thing as what? P. OQ is same thing as Q. OR is same thing as R. So now, if we want to now express PQ in relation to the position vector, now if PQ you want to express, this is P and Q, PQ in relation to the position vector, that means you start from P and ends at Q. So if you are starting from P, you'll be moving against this particular vector. Now the arrow moves like this, so that means you are going to move against it. So that means that reason it is attracting a negative sign, that be minus PQ, minus, because you are moving against this arrow, minus PQ plus OQ, minus PQ plus OQ. So our PQ is already what? P. So that means you are having minus P plus Q. So that means the position vector of PQ can be written as small q minus P. Now you also told to look for the position vector of PR. So PR, so you want to look for the position, so you can draw a line like this to show PR. So let me just try to draw it. So that means this is still my reference point O, PR. So the position vector of PR, so now the position vector of point P is what? OP. The position vector of point R is what? OR. So that means the arrow face like this, like this. If we now want to describe PR in relation to the position vector, now you start at P and end at R. When you are starting at P, so that means you go like this, you move contrary to this arrow. If you are moving contrary to the arrow, this one will be what? Minus PQ, then plus this OR. So minus PQ, this one is, you've used small letter P to represent this and small letter R to represent this. So this one will be what? Minus PQ. Minus PQ is what? This vector will be what? Represented by what? Small p minus P, plus this one is represented by what? Small r. So that means the vector PR is same thing as saying R minus P. Also, let's come to position vector of QR. So if you are having 2 points, you are having Q and point R. So point Q and point R. Now if this is O is your reference point, so that means you are having what? This place of OQ, you use small q to represent this, and OR moving like this, move small r to represent. So it moves from this reference point to this, so R. If we now want to represent QR in reference to their position vector, now you realize that the arrow is facing this way, so that means you need to move against this arrow. That means that is why you are having minus QO plus OR. OR will be the vector QR. So now already you know that this one will not be minus QO, will not be minus this vector Q. This one is vector Q, small q, plus OR is what? Small r. This one should be small r. So you can rewrite it as what? Vector QR will be equal to R minus Q. Now, let's look at the work practice. For the work practice, the position vector of the point A, B, C, D related to an origin O are respectively small a, B, C, and D. Find the following vectors in terms of A, B, C, D. So that means you have to express it in terms of their position vector. Then you are having what? AC, vector AC AD. 3. AB plus CA. 4. BC. 5. BD. 6. CD. 7. BC plus CD. 8. BC plus BD. 9. AC plus BC. Please ensure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Thank you.